So a bill was just introduced in the state of California, which will mandate that all gun owners in the state must have liability insurance if they want to own firearms. So let's talk about this. But real quick before we jump into this video, if you think the state of California needs to stop violating our Second Amendment rights, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. Also, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, which is Arms List. Arms List is the top website to go to if you're looking for deals in your local area. And also you can utilize the 1,300 FFL dealers that they have available on their website to find other deals as well. Beyond just being an awesome site for deals, Arms List is also involved in multiple lawsuits against various government agencies and groups that want to infringe on our Second Amendment rights. In fact, Arms List has a legal defense fund that they utilize to engage in critical lawsuits. So I highly recommend that you check out Arms List if you're interested. And if you're also interested, I will leave a link down below to the Arms List Legal Defense Fund, where you can check out the cases they're involved in and also donate to them if you're interested. So like I said in the intro, a bill was just introduced in the state of California, which will require all gun owners in the state to get a firearms liability insurance policy. This is essentially a copycat of something the city of San Jose did with a city-level mandate of gun owner liability insurance. The bill we're going to be talking about in this video is SB 505, and it is also titled as the Firearms Liability and Insurance Act. The bill states that existing law requires any person who purchases or receives a firearm as specified to possess a firearm safety certificate. Existing law requires the Department of Justice to develop a written test required for the issuance of a firearm safety certificate. So at the beginning of this bill, they are referencing the firearm safety certificate in California that California residents must obtain and maintain in order to purchase firearms. Along with that, you also have to take a multiple choice test to pass it, and then also you pay a fee. And then after all that, after you pass that multiple choice test, you pay your fee, you get this firearm safety certificate. So then you can actually purchase a firearm. So what this bill is aiming to do is build on that prior restraint of the firearm safety certificate to also require liability insurance. The bill goes on to state that this bill would make a person who owns a firearm strictly civilly liable for each incident of property damage, bodily injury, or death resulting from the use of their firearm. The bill goes on to state that the bill would additionally require a person who owns a firearm to obtain and continuously maintain in full force and effect a homeowner's, renter's, auto, or gun liability insurance policy specifically covering losses or damages resulting from any negligent or accidental use of that firearm, including, but not limited to, death, injury, or property damage. This bill would require a person to keep written evidence of coverage in the place where a firearm is stored and to carry such evidence with them whenever transporting or otherwise possessing the firearm outside of the place where it is stored. The bill then states that the bill would require the person to present evidence of coverage to a peace officer when requested under specific circumstances. So there's a lot in this bill that we just mentioned, so let's break this down piece by piece. First, the state is going to make someone strictly liable for any property damage, injury, or death that occurs if some criminal steals your firearm. Strict liability in the civil law is a standard of liability under which a person is legally responsible for the consequences flowing from an activity, even in the absence of fault on the person's part or intent on the person's part. Essentially, it doesn't matter that you have nothing to do with the criminal who stole your firearm and engaged in criminal conduct. It doesn't matter that you had nothing to do with it. The state of California doesn't care. They want to hold you strictly liable for all those actions. Now, what does it mean that you're held strictly liable? Well, that means that a third party who is injured, maybe property that is injured, the owner of it, can then sue you, not the criminal. They're suing you personally and trying to hold you civilly liable for those actions. And you're going to be held strictly liable. So you're going to have very few defenses to actually protect yourself against those types of lawsuits. The only caveat to this is that under this bill, you can avoid civil liability if you report the stolen firearm before any harm occurs. So essentially the state wants to put all the pressure on the law-abiding citizens, the law-abiding gun owners within the state. And so if your firearm is stolen, they want to put all the pressure and liability on you instead of the actual criminal. The next thing this bill does is it mandates that everyone who owns a firearm within the state must obtain and maintain a homeowner's, renter's, auto, or gun liability policy from an insurer that specifically covers losses or damages from any negligent or accidental use of a firearm. This is simply the state of California attempting to add another barrier that you must meet prior to exercising your rights within the state. Firearms ownership in the state of California is already insanely expensive and hard, and now this mandated insurance will simply add to costs and procedures and will likely price many people out of the exercise of their rights and exercise of firearms ownership within the state. On top of that, right now, I'm not aware of any auto insurer, homeowners insurer, or other insurance provider who offers firearms civil liability protection. That might be something that will be created after the fact if this bill ever passes, but right now I'm not aware of any of these bigger companies that offer anything like that. And likely once they do, if this becomes mandated, I'm sure these types of insurance policies will pop up, but they will be probably very costly and again, just will price people out of the exercise of their rights within the state. This bill also requires that you must keep written proof of the insurance coverage stored with your firearms, and you must also travel with the proof of insurance if you're going to somewhere like the range. So they're saying if you decide you want to transport, maybe even concealed carry your firearms, you're going to have to keep this proof of insurance with you. And somehow they believe that that's going to make the state safer by you carrying proof of this insurance with you everywhere you go. Now, you may be asking yourself at this point, how will they even know if you actually have this proof of insurance? Well, because in this bill, they say that law enforcement officers can pretty much ask you for proof of insurance. This bill gives authority to law enforcement officers, law enforcement agencies within the state of California to ask for proof of insurance, similar to, I guess, how they would ask for proof of insurance for you driving a vehicle. Instead, this is just going to be tied directly to a constitutional right, your right to keep and bear arms. And this is all being done within the reality that we know that criminals will not purchase these insurance policies. They will not follow this insurance mandate. Criminals are not going to go out and get CCW permits. They're not going to get their firearm safety certificate, and they're definitely not going to go buy an insurance policy because the state of California tells them to. This is simply another attempt by the state of California to make firearms ownership so costly and burdensome that people decide that it's not worth it, and maybe they just don't decide to purchase firearms. Now, like I said, there is an insurance mandate happening right now within the city of San Jose, and there are various lawsuits that have been filed against the city by NAGR and Firearms Policy Coalition. So that litigation is currently going on, challenging the constitutionality of insurance mandates, and that's at the state level. But in the meantime, I would highly recommend that if you're in the state of California, to reach out to your local representatives. Let them know that you oppose this bill and this insurance mandate. Let them know that the state trying to mandate that you have an insurance policy to exercise your rights to keep and bear arms is a violation of the Second Amendment, and that they should never vote in favor of this bill. Recently, we as a community stopped the mandatory firearms notification for schools. We can do the same thing with this bill if we join together. So please forward this video on to all of your friends and family within the state of California, or maybe if you're outside the state of California, still spread the word about what the state of California is trying to do, because like we saw, this started with a single state. The potential is with a liberal state like the state of California, maybe this could pass. And as we know, once something like this passes in California or New York, it's only a matter of time before other states try to adopt it, and maybe also Congress at a federal level try to implement something like this. Now, real quick before I end this video, I also want to give you guys an important update on something that's a little bit unrelated that has to do with the Supreme Court releasing opinions next week on Tuesday and Thursday. So the next opinion dates for the Supreme Court are next week, Tuesday and Thursday. I will be keeping an eye on that. I will be waiting to see if they release the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin decision. If they do, I will let you guys know as soon as possible. I will likely put out a video early in the morning just announcing the decision, and then later on the day I will do a more comprehensive video. So just keep an eye out for that. I know a lot of people ask about when the next opinion days are, and they're going to be next week, Tuesday and Thursday. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and comment down below and I'll try to answer the best of my ability. Also, if you like this video and like support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is to like, comment, and subscribe. All those things help to fuel the algorithm or fuel Al Gore's rhythm. It adds fuel to his jet, and it signals to YouTube that you guys see value in these videos and in this type of two-way news. Again, I want to thank everybody who likes, comments, subscribes, who hits the notification bell, who shares these videos. You guys are directly impacting these videos, impacting this channel, and helping me to reach and educate more people than I could ever do on my own. So again, thank you so much for all of your support. And as always, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And never forget, this is with Built by Arms Scholars, and the station will be maintained by Arms Scholars.